Welcome to our channel. Today we dive into the life of Samuel and the powerful lessons his story holds for us in modern times. Samuel's journey from his humble beginnings to becoming a prophet and leader of Israel is filled with invaluable insights that can inspire us to live more fulfilling and purpose-driven lives. Throughout his life, Samuel encountered challenges, celebrated victories, and always remained obedient to God's call. His story reminds us that no matter our circumstances, God has a plan for each of us, and with faith and perseverance we can overcome any obstacle and fulfill our destinies. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. God bless. Imagine a world filled with distractions where the constant noise of everyday life makes it difficult to hear anything else. That was the world Samuel was born into, a world where the spiritual connection between God and his people had grown faint. But Samuel, even as a young boy, possessed a unique sensitivity to the divine. He could hear God's voice, a still, small voice whispering guidance and purpose. In the bustling tabernacle, amidst the clatter of daily rituals, Samuel learned to distinguish God's voice from the surrounding clamor. In our modern world, the noise hasn't diminished, it's amplified. We are bombarded with information, with endless notifications, with the constant hum of technology. But Samuel's life offers us a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the midst of chaos, we can cultivate the ability to hear God's voice. It starts with carving out moments of stillness in our day, moments dedicated to prayer, to reflection, to simply being present in the quiet embrace of God's presence. Just as Samuel learned to discern God's voice amidst the clamor of the tabernacle, we too can train our hearts to recognize the divine whispers in our lives. The key is to be present, to pay attention, to cultivate a heart that is open and receptive to God's guidance. When we prioritize our relationship with God, we create the space for His voice to resonate deeply within us. Samuel's story is one of remarkable dedication, a testament to the power of unwavering faith and commitment. From a young age, he was set apart, dedicated to God's service by his mother Hannah. It was a promise made in desperation, a vow whispered through tears of longing, a mother's heartfelt plea for a child. Hannah's dedication of Samuel wasn't just a symbolic gesture, it was a complete surrender of her most precious gift to God's purpose. This act of faith laid the foundation for Samuel's extraordinary journey. He grew up in the tabernacle, immersed in the rhythms of worship, surrounded by the presence of God. But Samuel's dedication wasn't passive. It was an active choice he made every day to seek God's will, to follow His guidance, to live a life worthy of the calling placed upon him. As Samuel matured, so did his relationship with God. He wasn't afraid to ask questions, to seek guidance, to wrestle with difficult truths, and to grow in understanding. Samuel's unwavering commitment to God, even when faced with challenges and uncertainties, is a powerful reminder for us today. We may not all be called to serve in the same way Samuel was, but we are all called to live a life dedicated to God's purpose. Dedication isn't always easy. It requires sacrifice, perseverance, and a willingness to step outside of our comfort zones. But the rewards of a life lived in alignment with God's purpose are immeasurable. When we dedicate our lives to God, we open ourselves up to a life of abundance, a life filled with purpose and meaning. Trust in His plan, dedicate your life to Him fully, and watch as He unfolds a destiny more extraordinary than you could have ever imagined. Samuel's journey is a testament to the transformative power of dedication and faith. Samuel's story is a testament to the power of humble beginnings, a narrative that resonates through the ages. Born to a woman who knew the pain of barrenness, his very existence was a testament to God's grace, a miracle that defied the odds. Hannah's heartfelt prayer, her desperate plea for a child, echoed through the halls of the temple, a testament to her unwavering faith and relentless hope. And God, in His infinite mercy, answered her prayer, blessing her with Samuel, a name that means God has heard, a name that would become synonymous with faith and leadership. From his infancy, Samuel was surrounded by an atmosphere of faith, a nurturing environment that would shape his destiny. He grew up in the shadow of the temple, a place where the presence of God was palpable, where every corner whispered the sacred. But Samuel's upbringing wasn't one of privilege or entitlement. It was marked by simplicity and devotion. He was raised by Eli, the high priest, a man tasked with guiding the spiritual well-being of Israel, a mentor who saw potential in the young boy. Under Eli's tutelage, Samuel learned the importance of humility, of service, of placing God at the center of everything, lessons that would become the bedrock of his character. These early lessons shaped Samuel into the leader he would become, a leader who would guide his people with wisdom and integrity. He didn't rise to prominence through ambition or self-promotion, but through a heart attuned to God's voice, a spirit of humility, and an unwavering commitment to serving others, qualities that set him apart. Samuel's humble beginnings, his upbringing in an environment that nurtured his faith and instilled in him the values of service and integrity, laid the foundation for his extraordinary leadership, a leadership that would leave a lasting legacy. He didn't seek power or prestige. He sought to serve God and his people with every fiber of his being, a true servant leader. In a world often enamored with titles and accolades, Samuel's story reminds us that true leadership springs from humility, from a willingness to serve others, from a heart that is fully surrendered to God's purpose, a heart that seeks to uplift rather than dominate. It's not about our own ambitions, but about allowing God to work through us, to use our gifts and talents to make a difference in the world around us, to be vessels of his will. Samuel's life teaches us that true greatness isn't found in positions of power, but in positions of service, in the quiet acts of faith and devotion that transform lives and communities. Samuel's life wasn't without its share of heartache and disappointment. From a young age, he was thrust into a world where the lines between right and wrong were often blurred by those in power. As he matured and witnessed the leadership of Eli's sons, Hophni and Phinehas, his heart grew heavy with concern. These men, who were supposed to be paragons of virtue, were anything but. These men, entrusted with positions of authority, had strayed from God's path, their hearts consumed by greed and corruption. They exploited their roles for personal gain, disregarding the sacred trust placed in them. Imagine Samuel torn between his loyalty to Eli and his commitment to righteousness. He was caught in a moral dilemma, struggling to reconcile his respect for his mentor with his duty to uphold divine justice. He had witnessed firsthand the consequences of their actions, the erosion of trust, the pain inflicted upon the people they were meant to serve. The community's faith was shaken, and their spirits were broken. But Samuel, despite his youth, understood that true leadership requires integrity, accountability, and a steadfast commitment to what is right, even when it's difficult. He knew that leadership was not about power, but about service. He couldn't stand idly by while those in power abused their authority and led the people astray. His conscience wouldn't allow him to remain silent in the face of such blatant wrongdoing. And so, with a heavy heart, Samuel confronted Eli, delivering a message from God that exposed the corruption within their midst and foretold the consequences of their actions. It was a moment of reckoning, a divine intervention that could not be ignored. It was a difficult message to deliver, a message that challenged the status quo and demanded accountability from those in positions of power. Samuel's courage was tested, but he stood firm in his convictions. Samuel's courage in speaking truth to power, even when it was uncomfortable, serves as a powerful reminder for us today. His actions were a testament to the strength of character and the importance of moral integrity. We live in a world where institutions, both secular and religious, can be susceptible to corruption, where power can be abused, and where the voices of the marginalized can be silenced. The parallels to Samuel's time are striking. In such times, we need individuals like Samuel, individuals who are willing to stand up for what is right, to speak truth to power, and to demand accountability from those in positions of authority. Their voices are crucial in the fight against injustice. Samuel's life teaches us that true leadership requires moral courage, a willingness to speak up against injustice, and a commitment to holding ourselves and others accountable to a higher standard. It's a call to live with integrity. It's about recognizing that our actions have consequences, that our choices impact others, and that we have a responsibility to use our influence for good. Every decision we make can ripple through our communities. Samuel's story is a call to action, an invitation to examine our own lives, our own roles within our communities, and our willingness to speak up against injustice. It's a challenge to be better, to do better. Let us be inspired by Samuel's unwavering commitment to integrity, his willingness to speak truth to power, and his unwavering faith in God's justice. His legacy is a beacon of hope and a guide for our own journeys. Thank you for watching. If you found these lessons from Samuel's life inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Samuel's story reminds us that, even amidst chaos and uncertainty, God's voice can guide us, His grace can sustain us, and His purpose can empower us to live extraordinary lives. Remember to cultivate a heart that is attuned to God's whispers, to dedicate your life to His purpose, and to lead with integrity and courage. Let Samuel's legacy inspire you to embrace your own journey of faith, to answer God's call on your life, and to make a difference in the world around you. Stay blessed and see you in the next video.